Assalamualaikum dear students, welcome to NIPS Home School. Hope you all are fine by the grace of Almighty. This is Kamrun, Assistant Teacher of English, National Ideal English Version School, Day Shift. My dear students of class 8, today I am going to take your English second paper and our today's topic is transformation. Today we will do affirmative to negative and this one is part 2. Let's start our class. So, in your previous class, you have done rule 1 to 9 and today we will start from rule number 10. So, let's start. So, now look, affirmative sentence having always can be changed into negative by using never in place of always and the opposite word of the given affirmative word. So, you will use never in place of always and then you will use the opposite word of the given affirmative word. So, now look at the first example. Affirmative sentence is I always agreed with him. I always agreed with him. So, we will change it to negative now and in the place of always we will write never and now look agreed with him. So, we will change the opposite of the agree, that means disagree. So, we will write here I never. In place of always we will write here never. I never disagreed. Then we will write the rest of the sentence disagreed with him. Okay, next example. Rahim was always punctual. Rahim was always punctual. So let's start the with the subject. So at first we will write here subject Rahim was and we will write never instead of always. Rahim was never. Now look here, the word is punctual. So what is the opposite of punctual? Late. So Rahim was never late. So if you find always in the affirmative sentence and if you want to make it negative, you will write never in the place of always and you will write the opposite word of the given affirmative word. Now we will go to our next rule, rule number 11. Affirmative sentences having two, the other two can be changed into negative by using the following rule. That means there will be an adjective. Subject of the given sentence plus so in place of to plus adjective or adverb used after to, then we will write that and after writing that we will write the first subject plus cannot or could not according to the tense and then the rest part of the sentence after to. Okay, let's do the example. Now look, he is too weak to go. He is too weak to go. Now look at this example. At first we will write here he according to our structure. So, subject of the given sentence, then we will write so in place of to. Now look at, so what is the verb here is, and of course you need to write the verb here. So, he is so, then we will write the adverb or adjective in place of after so we will write here weak. He is so weak. Now we will write here that he is so weak that again the first subject, that means our subject is he, so we will write here he is so weak that he. Now we will write cannot or could not according to the tense and now this is the present tense. He is too weak, so we will write here cannot. He is so weak that he cannot. Now the rest part of the sentence, that means to go. He is so weak that he cannot go. Now next example. He was too poor to buy a gift. She was too poor to buy a gift. So now look, at first we will write here she, then the auxiliary verb was and in the place of to we will write here so. She was so poor that, after so we will write the adjective, and then we will write that. She was so poor that, then the first subject, she was so poor that she. Now look at the tense, it was in the past tense, so we will write here could not. She was so poor that she could not. Now the rest of the sentence, that means buy, we'll write the rest of the sentence after to. So what is given here? Buy a gift. So could not buy a gift. So she was too poor to buy a gift, and in the negative sentence it will be she was so poor that she could not buy a gift. Now we'll go to our next rule, rule number 12. Affirmative sentence having as dot dot as is changed into negative by using not less than, not less than. So now look at this example. He is as rich as his brother. He is as rich as his brother. So there will be an adjective, and how will you change it? So we will write not less than. Okay, let's start. At first we will write our subject and then the verb, and now in place of as we will write not less than. He is not, okay, he is not less, okay, there will be a dot, okay, he is not less. Now we'll write the adjective, he is not less rich, and now we will write then in place of the second as. He is not less rich than, now the rest of the sentence, his brother. He is not less rich than his brother. So now next rule, if the sentence indicates universal truth, then the structure will be auxiliary verb plus not plus subject plus verb plus object, and you must put put a note of interrogation. Now look, the earth moves round the sun. So this sentence is universal truth, and our structure will be auxiliary verb not plus subject plus verb plus object. So let's do this example. The earth moves round the sun. So what will be the answer? Yes, I know all of you know it. So at first we will, now look, there is the verb moves, and that means it is in the present indefinite tense, and there is no auxiliary verb. So what will you write here? Yes, we will write here does, or we can also write here doesn't. Okay, doesn't. Now our subject is the earth. Doesn't the earth. Now the verb move, and we all know that we will use the, we will write the base form or the present form of the verb after does. Okay, so doesn't the earth move. Now the rest part of the sentence, round the sun. Now given question mark or note of interrogation. So if the, if you find a sentence, universal truth, if the affirmative sentence expresses the universal truth, you will make it negative in this way. At first you will write auxiliary verb, then there will be a not, and now you will write the subject, then the main verb, and then the object. Okay. Now we will go to rule number 14. If a sentence starts with sometimes, then the structure will be, now look, subject plus do not always or does not always or not always. Okay, according to the tense, and then there will be the verb plus object. Okay, so Afrin sometimes looks healthy. Afrin sometimes look healthy. This is our affirmative sentence. So how will you change it? If you find, sometimes we will write does not. Now look, or do not, or not always. Okay, so Afrin. At first we will write our subject Afrin. So with Afrin there will be what? There will be does not, right? Afrin does not, then we will write always. Now the present form of the verb look, Afrin does not always look healthy. Okay. Now next example, they sometimes call me. They sometimes call me. So at first we will write our subject they, then we will write here do not, because our subject is plural. So they do not, then there will be always. They do not always. Now the base form of the verb, that means call, will be called. They do not always call me. Now after the verb we will write the object. So if you find sometimes, you will write does not always or do not always according to the subject. Okay. Now next rule, rule number 15, an affirmative sentence containing many is changed into negative by using not a few in place of many. Okay, not a few in place of many. So that is the example of affirmative sentence, and we will change it to negative. There are many students in the class. There are many students in the class. So what will you write in place of many? Yes, a few. Okay. Okay, let's do it. There are many students. So we will, at first we will write here there are, and we will write a few in place of many. There are a few there will be not. There are not a few students in the class. So if you find many in affirmative sentence, you will write not a few. Okay, not a few. There are not a few students in the class. Okay. Now next rule, rule number 16, an affirmative sentence having a few is changed into negative by using not many in place of a few. So if you find a few, you will write here not many in place of a few. So there is the example, I have a few friends. So you will write not many, okay, in place of a few. So let's do it. I have. So in place of a few, we will write not many. I have not many. Now the rest of the sentence, I have not many friends. Okay, it's done. Now rule number 17, an affirmative sentence having much is changed into negative by using not a little in place of much. An affirmative sentence having much is changed into negative by using not a little in place of much. Okay, he has much money. He has much money. So we will write not a little in place of much. So at first we will write he has, then we will write not a little in place of much, and then we will write the rest part of the sentence, that means money. So he has much money, and negative will be he has not a little money. Now the last rule, that means rule number 18, an affirmative sentence having a little is changed into negative by using not much in place of a little. So we will write here not much in place of a little. Okay. Now look at this example. In this affirmative sentence, I have a little rice. I have a little rice. So what we will write? At first we will write our subject, then there will be the verb have, and now we will write not much. I have not much, and now the rest of the sentence rice, that means our object. I have not much rice. So dear students, we have discussed rules number 10 to 18 today, and all of you will go through your book or these rules, and then you will do your homework number 6. And your homework number 6 will be you will transform the following sentences into negative. That means you will change these sentences into negative. Number 1, we sold a little honey. Number 1, we sold a little honey. Number 2, he is as clever as a fox. Number 2, he is as clever as a fox. Number 3, I shall always remember your advice. Number 3, I shall always remember your advice. Number 4, she was too poor to buy a gift. Number 4, she was too poor to buy a gift. Number 5, he wants much water. Number 5, he wants much water. Number 6, I have bought a few books. Number 6, I have bought a few books. So you can take the screenshot and then you can do your homework. So dear students, that's all for today. I hope you have understood our today's topic. All of you will submit your regularly on every Saturday. So dear students, listen to your parents. See you again. Allah Hafiz.